Welcome back to the channel, folks, and the strange case of the Autobot known as Roadbuster. This is a guy that came along that I did not initially pick up. I was a while picking this guy up, to be honest with you, and I kind of just done it because I was bored. Honestly, I really never had any kind of a link to him. And sometimes when I've picked up some of these obscure characters, I've been really pleased with them. G-Axis, Scoop, and even most recently in the Computron set with Scrounge. Was I impressed with this guy? Well, stick around. We're going to talk about everything to do with the Transformers Generations Voyager class Roadbuster in the latest GotBot True Review. Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. And as always, please have a look at the Everything Factor and Machinery of Man. Check me out everywhere. And like, comment, subscribe. But you already know that stuff by now. I am sure of it. This is Voyager class Roadbuster. Here's what I can tell you. He's one of the wreckers. He's been represented a few times over the years. He did have a Generation 1 incarnation and figure that I do not remember. I really don't know anything about the guy. Let's adjust this a bit. I really don't know anything about the guy. He's tough. He has an awful lot of weaponry. Honestly, I feel like he is kind of the G1 equivalent for the movieverse version of Hound. Than Hound is, to be perfectly honest with you. So, there's a lot to actually talk about here. We're going to start off with his paint apps. I'm going to give them a 10. Here's why I'm giving it a 10. Because the colors are quintessentially Roadbuster, if you know the character at all. It does look like him. He came with a wealth of weaponry, and you can see him holding a rather large gun here, and he has another blaster up on his shoulder. We're going to take that out of it for now, and we're going to take this one out of his hands that he's dual wielding for now, and kind of deal with all of that in just a little bit. When you get this guy, he came with something almost unheard of, except for Titan class figures in the modern day. And what is that, you might ask? A sticker sheet. He had a pile of them, and most of them you could fit in places. Now they don't fit perfectly, so I did sort of finagle some here on his leg and over right here. I did put the big Autobot symbol up here. There was a blue Wreckers Autobot symbol, and a lot of people have either put that there or they've left it off. The nice thing about Roadbuster is that you can really make him look like your own, individualized. Me personally, I wanted him to have both, so I put the Wreckers symbol in here on his back. And for me that works. I mean, for you, maybe not. Who knows? So paint apps, it's a 10. It is a 10. He comes with a multitude of weapons, and he's covered in 5mm ports to be able to hold them in either mode. And they do connect together. I should point that out. I mean, you can... I just dropped one there. But you can basically take every single one of them and, you know, put them together and have them look something like this, or there's any number of configurations that you can do. I'll look at them one at a time. I will say this. Personally, this one here I always put on his shoulder. This is the spring-loaded one. You push down on this, this button up here, this black button up here, and this thing will fly a fair distance, to be honest with you. It's pretty strong, right? I mean, you know, it is quite strong indeed. I always put that one up on his shoulder. There's a port up here and a port on this side. You can put it on either side, but I always store that one on his shoulder as a shoulder cannon. You know, just my taste, I guess. He's not always the best to stand either, to be honest with you. He comes with this other blaster thing. This thing. I guess that's okay. Here we can, let's say put that one on his shoulder there. You know, why not put that on his shoulder? He comes with, I guess these are missiles. I guess this little piece, I guess these are missiles. That would be my guess. And they can go on, say, up here on this shoulder. He comes with, am I almost done here? Are you gonna stay stood up for me? Like I said, he's a little iffy about being stood up. He comes with this other, I use it as a scope, but I guess it could be a little rocket launcher type of item. And I don't know, let's just stick that down on his leg for storage for now, just for ease sake. And then he comes, last but not least, with these other two pieces. Now I point these out together because these fit together a certain way. There's a slot here in the front of the piece that has the hinge, and there's a rectangular peg at the end of this rather large rifle, and that can slide up in there like that. That's how those two specifically go attached. But again, you could put this one in his hand, say, and you could put this other one over in his other hand. And I mean, Roadbuster is completely armed up for battle. He has so many weapons. Actually, we'll take this one off of his leg, and here we'll put it over on this arm. And we'll even face it forward, and we'll face this one forward. I mean, there's a, you know, there's a one bot assault army right there. And you know, according to his bio, he is like a natural born leader on the battlefield. Doesn't really know what to do with himself off of it. And I guess it goes to show right here. So let's take all of those off. We'll look at them again in vehicle mode just to see locations where they can all store. But I mean, you can see that the guy is covered in 5mm ports and pegs everywhere. His articulation, well, the head goes left and right. It can look up a bit, down only very slightly. The arms, you can hear a ratchet all the way around, soft ratchet all the way around. They go out, or again, a soft ratchet. Listen to the arm go out. You hardly hear it. But when you got to bring the arm in, same on this side. Soft ratchet out, arm in. Very tight ratchet. He has bicep swivel. Now, when I got mine, the bicep swivel was pretty terrible, and his biceps would actually pop out of the socket. It's just a mushroom peg. It's just a mushroom peg in right here. I actually popped the arm out. I took a bit of sandpaper, went around the edge of the mushroom peg, right? I just, you know, popped it out like this. So now he's kind of one arm there. And I took a bit of sandpaper and just literally went right around the edge a few times just to get rid of a little bit of the plastic actually around there. And you can actually see the discoloration a little bit where I worked with the sandpaper. Once I was done with that, I just came back to his arm. I slid it back in. Now I will say this. It is tight to get in there. It is tight to get back in there once you have it out. But yeah, I had it in there after, and now I can actually turn his arm. He has a double elbow, which gives him a very deep elbow bend. I do like that. He has, does he have wrist articulation? He doesn't have wrist articulation. He doesn't have a waist. The legs are, again, a weird story. They can go out about that far If you sort of turn them, you can get them up further because this orange piece on the outer thigh has an effect. Same going back. It can go all the way back if you turn it a little bit to get this orange piece out of the way. The knees sort of bend forward oddly like this. I don't really dig that. And there's a nice 90-degree knee bend. And there is a swivel. There's a mushroom peg way up on the thigh. There is a swivel, but you don't get a lot out of it because of this orange thigh pad on the outside. The ankles, again, you could, if you wanted to, have his ankles down further and have his feet way out, but he's not going to stand very well at all. You really need to kind of angle the foot back and bring it up. I'll show it here with this one. Take this hinge, angle it back, fold the foot. And that's your best chance of getting this guy to stand, and even then it's going to be a bit tricky. He has very tight bicep swivels. He has big feet, yet he's difficult to stand. His knees kind of bend a little bit in the wrong direction. There was a lot of good done here, and I don't get all the ratchets. There was a lot of good done here. And his articulation is good. It's just, and you can get him in dynamic poses, it's just, it might be challenging to get him to actually stand up. So overall, I'm going to have to give his posability, playability, kind of like with Windblade. She has a ton of it, but difficult to stand. He has a ton of it, but difficult to stand. 6.5, maybe 7 if you're lucky. Maybe you don't have the problem with him standing like I do, but you know, I'm just saying, that has been my experience. How big is he? He's pretty big. You know, he's not the biggest Voyager, but he's an okay size. You know, there he is with a modern Voyager. That, of course, being the Titan's Return, Sentinel Prime figure. Excuse me. He's a little bit shorter, but he's certainly bulkier than a lot of the Voyagers. I looked at Sentinel in episode 153, so there you go. That's everything to do with this guy except for his transformation. We will get into that now. Where do we begin with this guy's transformation? Well, this is one of those guys, folks, I haven't done him in a while, so this is about to get interesting. I guess we'll start here and take out this tire, and you come to the back, and you take out that tire. You can take out the 2 tires. That's going to be pretty straightforward and easy, I would think. Next we come to the body, and we should be able to, if I can remember how this is done, we should be able to open this chest up. Just like that. There you go. Yeah, you pull it out and you bring it right up over his head. Now you have these 2 shoulder pieces on a black armature inside there. They're sort of just free flowing. Well, they're not really going to be free flowing for long. You take the arm and you bring it up over. You take this arm and you bring it up over. You're going to angle this whole brown piece down so that it goes in under here. Bring it down and push it in. Just like that. Bring it down and push it in. Just like that. And you can sort of see where this guy is going to go from here. Or at least I think you can. I hope you can. Next, you want to bring the shoulders in on the side. And you'll notice this double elbow that we had earlier. Now it can actually kind of bend up and fill in right there. And it bends up and fills in. Again, in right there. When you do that, there's a little brown tab on the top of the forearm, and that little brown tab goes into a little orange slot up right here on the hood. The little brown tab goes up into the little orange slot. Like that. And this one over here should do the same thing. I hope. Oh, and you can take these headlights, I guess, and you could turn those out as well if you are so inclined. They kind of cover his fists here in vehicle mode. There. And that's the front of the vehicle done. All we really did was put his arms up, put his shoulder pieces in here, flip up his whole chest piece. You see the visible head down in underneath. And when we brought this out front, we just flipped these little panels out to cover over, you know, the fingers and knuckles of his fists. That's how that looks. And this came on tab over here. You're going to get that happen, I find, until this guy is all kind of put in place, solid. So I almost, honestly, I almost don't even worry about that for now, because that's going to happen. Now we come to the challenging part. Back here, a lot of people haven't found this to be a challenging part, but for some reason on my version of the mold it is, and I don't know if yours is the same thing. The feet need to be facing the other way. There you go. Now you bring them together. And they still need to flip up, except I thought that this piece that went in between here was bigger. This is how the hinges should look. You're basically taking the foot that was in this position and you're turning it to the side and bringing it down so that it's flush with the inside of the leg. But again, the same thing holds true. In folding this up, it does not like to work when they go up together. So I have always had to bring one side up and bring it in and hold it over, and then I bring the other side up and try to squeeze it in. And it is tricky. Once you get that done, you have to hopefully squeeze all of this together like that. Fix that, and boom, there you go. Is he done? I think so. There you go, Roadbuster in his vehicle mode. And he has a great vehicle mode. The transformation has its fiddly points, especially trying to fit these feet into kind of, you know, finish the roof off. The instructions, as I recall, say to do both of them at once. I can't for the life of me do that. Outside of that, the rest of the transformation is pretty easy. I'm going to give his transformation 8.5. It's not bad. It has a couple of fiddly points. It's not bad. Certainly not bad for, you know, like a collector. For a kid playing with it, they might get frustrated trying to get these feet lined up right to go in there, because that does have to be pretty exact. But he looks good. Once he's done, he looks really good, I think. And of course, you can take all of those weapons and put them on again, because he's still covered in ports. So we'll take what was his shoulder cannon and we'll put that, say, right there. We'll take his missile pod thing and we'll put that up on the other side there. We will take this little cannon and we'll just stick that right there. We will take this other little one maybe and stick it over here. I don't quite have those legs tabbed together either. And he's not sitting quite right. Remember, see what I mean? Like, he is a little bit fiddly at times. Anyway, what's left? We have this other large rifle. Here, we'll put that on the side. And last but not least, the other weapon with a hinge. And I don't know, let's stick that over here. And in the end, I mean, there you go. The guy is absolutely armored up. He's fun in terms of being like a big bruiser Autobot. He does come untabbed a little bit, and he's doing it to me now for some weird reason. Normally I find him pretty secure, but he's doing it to me now a little bit on camera. It does not hurt his score, because that's just me kind of being a butterfingers with him. It's not the mold. So yeah, 8.5, a 10 for paint ups. His posability, playability is about a 6.5. overall, this guy, you know, for, again, a character that you may have overlooked, but yet one that's gotten like a cult following, honestly, I think that this guy rounds out in the end at about somewhere between a 7.5 and an 8. Maybe even an 8.5 if you're a huge Roadbuster fan. He's pretty good, but it would really help if the guy was a little more stable on his feet. He's not bad, but he sure isn't perfect. Anyway, that's it for this guy. He was an interesting pickup. Do I have the buyer's remorse with him? Some days yes, some days no. It really kind of depends on my mood. But overall, yeah, I'm glad to have him in my collection. Sure, why not? I'm glad to have him in my collection. Anyway, that does it for this guy. As always, thanks for dropping by and giving me a little bit of your time. You know that I appreciate it. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together right here for another visit inside the videos.